Hello wonderful people, welcome back to my channel. It's Mili. Happy 2021 to all of you. I wish you all of the best for the new year. So guys, today I wanted to come to you to share with you what 2020 has taught me. I know many of us have learned a lot of lessons from 2020. Many people, because of the virus, they've seen life from a different perspective. But what I've learned may or may not be directly related to the pandemic and the change in the world. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't, like this video if you enjoyed, and put on your post notification so that you are notified every time I post a new video. So let's get right into the video. So the first thing that 2020 taught me is to learn to enjoy the present moments. A lot of times we're doing things, but we are so focused on the future. What will tomorrow bring? What are we going to do tomorrow? And all of these other things. We're hustling, but we're not enjoying the moments that we're in. Whether it's with our family, with our friends, with children, whatever it is, it taught me to enjoy the present moment. So if you're doing something, it's okay to film and be engaged, but enjoy the moments that we have, with the people in our lives and the things that we're doing that we really love to do. Like, enjoy it without thinking about what tomorrow will hold. I mean, the Bible tells us that we should not worry about what tomorrow will bring, because we really have no control over tomorrow. So it's very important to enjoy the present moment. The second thing that and I have my little book here because I don't want to be rambling all about the place. So yes, so the second thing that 2020 taught me is slowing down may actually be a good thing. And why I'm saying that is, again, sometimes in our hustle to have a better life ourselves and to do things, we're so busy, and because we're so busy, we don't get time to really not just enjoy the moment, but to enjoy the people in our lives. And sometimes we're too busy to speak to our family or our friends. We're too busy to do the things that we would have done if we were not so busy, if you get what I'm saying. So slowing down actually helps me to learn new skills and to do things that I love. I actually found out that I'm a really good baker. I mean, not blowing my own horn, but learning to do really healthy snacks is something that I always tried to learn how to do, but because I was so busy, I'm like, oh, I don't have time to do that, and because the things that I eat are so restricted, sometimes I would find myself eating things that I really should not be eating. So slowing down, I got more time to spend time baking. Slowing down is not always a bad thing. You could get more time to spend with your family, more time to do more leisure activities, more time to just sit and reflect on your life. Reflect on your life and see where you could change. So slowing down is not always a bad thing. The next thing that 2020 taught me is that forgiveness is very important for growth. And I had an experience in 2020 where I was in church and God was just telling me that I had to forgive somebody for something that they had done to me. And I was kind of battling, why should I have to do that? Or why do I even have to tell the person that I forgive them? Maybe I can just forgive them. But God was really telling me that I had to take that step. It's not something that the person did in 2020, but of course in 2020 God really spoke to me, and it made things a little better. Sometimes that you've not forgiven somebody, every time you hear the person's name, it's like ugh, kind of thing, but it changed that and changed the relationship. So 2020 taught me that forgiveness is very important, and that's something I really want to go into 2021 doing. I mean, it's not that I'm not a forgiving person. I think one of my qualities is that I'm very easy to forgive, but sometimes when people do things that you think is very hurtful, it's sometimes very difficult. And so yeah, that's one of the things that 2020 taught me. It's not just for the other person, but it's really important for yourself and for your peace of mind. The next thing that 2020 taught me is that to never take the simple things for granted. Again, if you realize, you will see that everything kind of went hand in hand. Everything that I've mentioned is going hand in hand. But never take the simple things for granted. The little phone call to your family or spending time with your family. I mean, for the past 3 years, I've been going to the US to spend time with my family, my parents, my aunt, my grandma. And this year, because of the pandemic, I decided, well, my husband and I decided that we were not going to go. There's a plane. If you're hearing that noise, it's a plane. Yes. So I was saying that we decided that we were not going to travel and spend Christmas. And it just shows, like, a simple thing like being able to spend time with your family, something that you may have taken for granted. It was so different this year. So never take the simple things for granted. Just going out for walks and spending time in nature is one of the things that I really, really love to do. But we had like a lockdown for about a week, and it was so weird not being able like to do some of the things that I really love to do. So take advantage of the time you have and never take the simple things for granted. So the next thing that 2020 taught me is that it is okay to be vulnerable. Now, I know a lot of the times when people hear the word vulnerable, they cringe because they're in their mind it shows weakness, like, you know, you're going to be vulnerable and people are going to take advantage of you and that kind of thing. But sometimes it is good to be vulnerable, because vulnerability will allow you to be able to make changes in your life. For example, if you're not vulnerable to express, not just to people but to yourself, like, this is where I am right now, and admit that this is where you are and these are the things that you need to do to be better, then you're not going to be open to change. So it's very important to be vulnerable. Also, being vulnerable, not just with yourself, but with other people, with the person that you love, your partner. Sometimes it's important to tell people why you feel the way you feel about things that they do or they don't do, why it's important to you. And it's not just showing that you're weak, but it's just creating a better relationship with you and whoever is important to you. Also, being vulnerable may actually help you overcome certain obstacles in your life. And I just want to share one experience that I have. It's kind of personal. So I have struggles with like gut issues. I've had surgery for gut issues, and maybe I can do a video about gut issues and maybe just sharing some light on it. But I remember going to the doctor's office because I was having a really bad flare-up where, you know, your stomach feels really sick and everything I eat was just not feeling any better. And I went to my normal checkup, and then she's like, you know, how are you? Like, you don't look like yourself. And I'm like, I'm okay. She's like, no, like, talk to me, talk. And I really had to open up and, you know, express to her like my frustration. And it wasn't anything major, but it was just being frustrated with doing all of the right things and still having like random diarrheas or whatever it was, or discomfort. So, and I actually had to share that few tears. She was like, no, just let it out. She was actually being my counselor at that time. But it actually helped, because then she had a better understanding that my symptoms were not just related to whatever was going on in the gut, but also because I was stressed out and frustrated about how I was feeling, it was actually exacerbating the symptoms. So being vulnerable in that moment actually helped her to give me a protocol that actually would help and make me feel better. So being vulnerable is not always a bad thing. I am on number 6. So family is very important. Family and your close friends is very important. And family may not necessarily be your blood. There may be people that are very close to you and you may consider them family. But during the pandemic, I'm sure a lot of people realize how important family is, and loving your family, forgiving, and just being there for people. It's so important. I mean, being locked up showed that sometimes family is all you have, and people who did not have family around them, maybe they did not do as well as those of us who had our families around us. They did not have the support of family. So family is very, very important. I think we knew that already, but I think 2020 showed it even more, that family is important. Some of us had family and friends, because I did have family and friends who got the virus. And so it shows how family is important, and living your family is important, because who knows what could have happened. So family is important, guys. If you're not on good terms with your family, I think 2021 is the time to, you know, forgive and love. And I'm not saying that if you have like toxic relationships that you should just engage. You know, you do what you think is important. If you think therapy can help, then you do that. But family is very important. Number 7 is that gratefulness is one of the most important tools that we could have. And again, 2020 showed that the little things that we had, being alive and being grateful for the breath of life, and not having to spend time at a hospital, and just having food, having jobs. Some of us, we have jobs and we're getting our full salaries, you know, and some people don't have that. So gratefulness is very important, and that's one of the things that I was doing before 2020, and it showed that it was even more important to do that. And that is one of the things that I think I will definitely carry throughout my life, and I encourage you to do that. Number 8, the thing that I learned is, and that's one of the most important things too, is that God's plans are not always our plans. His ways are not our ways. And in Isaiah, it speaks about that. And as a Christian, I always believe that God's plans and his ways are not our ways. And it definitely showed in 2020. So many plans that we had. We had plans to travel. I had plans to travel with my husband, do this, do that. And things did not always work out how I wanted it to, you know, because God's ways and God's plans are not always our plans. So we can plan, but God has the final say. So 2020 definitely showed me that. Number 9, 2020 showed me that there is a lesson in every season. Everything that we go through in life, there is a lesson in it, and sometimes we don't always see it. So sometimes you don't see the lesson right away, and you may be wondering, like, why did I have to go through such a difficult time? Why did this person have to do that? Why did this have to go that way? But there is a lesson to learn in every situation. And sometimes reflecting shows us how we could have done different, how we could have reacted to the situation differently. And that's one of the things that 2020 taught me. So just remember that there is a lesson in every season of your life. There is a lesson in it, and it may not always happen. I mean, a lesson, you may not always see it right away, but just remember that there is a lesson in every season. And the last thing that I have written down, number 10, is that we should, 2020 taught me to be intentional with the things that you do. So make decisions and take action on the things that are really important to you. And when you are intentional, that's what you do. You make decisions, you plan your goals on things that are really important to you. And if you're not intentional, then you're not going to achieve these goals, or you're not going to do the things that you really say you want to do, because you're not intentional. If you say you love somebody, you be intentional, do the things, take the actions, make the decisions that will actually show that you love that person. If you want to achieve whatever goal that you want to achieve, be intentional in every single thing that you do. And that is what 2020, and that is what 2020 taught me. Make a day pale. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was not too long, and until next time, bye.